Welcome. Oh, we got Chris Mitchell on the podcast. What's
Yeah,
going on,
we're
Chris?
just talking about you.
And Alan. Hey, look what Sean put up underneath my under my name, Mitchell. uh, what's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
We're good. How about yourself?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Mitchell is doing something, and we'll let him talk here in a minute. But we got some folks hopping on already. What's going on? Benetti, Conrad, Frizzy. We got Albert, Kenneth the Wiz. I should have actually here. I'm gonna send Benetti a link real quick
Hello?
if he wants to hop on. Where's it at? I didn't know that he. Well, for those of you that don't know, Conrad joined the club this week, so he's back in with the FKBT. So everybody, welcome him back to the club, back to bass fishing.
Welcome, Conrad.
My wife said welcome.
Molly, sidebar comments.
My wife. That's my wife, guys. She's of course, she's making dinner as the live starts. So, but hold on.
You figure she would have figured out what Thursdays are for. Thursdays are for the boys in the club.
Right. Yeah, so Conrad, if you're watching, I just sent you a link if you want to join the podcast and talk a little bit. Seth is going to hop on in about 10 minutes or so. He's heading back from dropping his kids off from soccer, but we're glad to have Chris Mitchell. We have Alan, potentially Conrad, and then Seth here in a little bit later. So, but how's your week going, Mitchell?
Just working.
Okay. What you eating?
So much excitement.
Hey, look at that. Oh, and look who else just popped on, Mr. John Hicks. Dang, we're going to have a full house today here in a little bit. So,
Hey,
awesome.
I'll drop in the background so you have some more room.
No, it's fine. You can stay on. We want to see you. Or he's helping his daughters with homework, so we'll let him. We'll keep him in the background until he can bring himself back on. But yeah, no, thank you guys again for coming out and joining the live tonight. We just we're not going to get too crazy into what exactly you guys did out on the Harris chain, but you guys obviously put together some decent bags to be able to compete up against some of those anglers from all across the country. Really, I think there was someone from Canada when I looked at the leaderboard, California. I mean, there's folks from pretty much all over that came down to the Harris chain and fish. So we had. I think how many of us were in the top 50? I think there were 6 of y'all in the top 50. If I'm not mistaken, if I did the math right, I think there was like 5 or 6 of y'all in the top 50, which is really good. So, what did you do to Bailey? Oh my God, Sean put that up on my stuff. I didn't put that up there. I don't know how to change it either. It says Chris Mitchell isn't a team player.
Why? What'd I do?
I don't know. He just put it on there. If you saw his, what did Sean say? I'm going to pull him back up, add to the stage. Oh, he changed. Don't tell us your spots on the Harris chain. I'll remove him again. But no, what's going on, John? How you doing? He's muted. There you go.
Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah, we got you.
Hey, doing well. Thanks for having me.
Are you in a hotel room or are you at your house? Because that's fancy back there.
It's a converted office that my wife got her hands on. When she gets her hands on it, it looks a certain way.
Well, that's nice. We got Alan. Where are you at tonight?
So I normally go out on Thursday night, but given the loud fan and dehumidifier noise at my house right now, I went out a little bit early. So I'm here just at a little wing place here in Lakeland.
Nice.
Wing house.
Nice. Yeah, wing house is legit. Mitchell, you're in your dungeon, it looks like.
Yep. My dungeon.
For those of you that don't know, you can tell it's his house or his room by all the checks in the background there and trophies. Those subtle flexes. Hey, everybody, look at his wall. There you go.
I'm waiting on 2 more. I'm waiting on 2 more from Bass from the Placid tournament.
Nice. Yeah, congrats, man. That's awesome. So again, just kind of give you guys a heads up on kind of like what this whole live is about is we have an event coming up on the Harris Chain. So again, don't go too crazy. Just whatever you guys are, kind of walk us through your weekend and your experience with Hobie and kind of how everything kind of felt. So again, whoever wants to start, no particular order. You guys can introduce yourself, a little bit about yourself, and then yeah, just kind of what all happened with you guys for the Hobie event. So whoever wants to start, man, you guys go ahead.
I'll go last because I did the worst.
Mitchell said that.
Yeah.
All right, John. Then John, if we're doing it that way, then John, you go first. You can go ahead and go first since I think you finished. Either you or Conrad, but yeah, I think John, you can go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So that was my first. I guess first off, this is my first season fishing with you guys and doing competitive kayak fishing. So I have really enjoyed that so far. And so our events being 40, 50 people, this one was certainly the biggest kayak event that I had done. Some of the people that may have fished like MLF type events in the past, MLF fishing, BFLs or Toyota Series. This maybe had kind of a sort of similar feel to that, just for reference in terms of the size and whatnot. So yeah, so I would say fishing with you guys this year, fishing the events I have certainly helped me prep for this. I don't know that I would have done as well. I've made a series of mistakes that I've learned from, in almost every event that we've had this year. And so that, has helped me clean some things up. So certainly helped a lot. But yeah, no, I went out. I think they said they paid 23 places, I think is what they did. So that was a goal of mine. I said, if I can cut a check, then I've had a good weekend of fishing. So I went in with kind of that goal and was able to do that. The first day was pretty nice, but I'm sure the other guys will tell you the second day, man, I got beat up pretty good. I was a little naive and went to my same spot that I went to the first day, and I had to bail after about an hour. I had rollers literally coming over the side of my Outback, and so I lost probably an hour and 15 minutes or so scooting to a spot that I could just barely duck out of the wind. So probably could have done a little better planning on my part, but in the end, all in all, I guess it worked out okay.
You're muted. Bailey. Bailey, you're muted.
Can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I muted everybody so that we could hear you. And I was like, what did Mitchell say? Did I cut him off? I was muted, rookie. No, that I was curious. I was on the fence. I was talking with Mitchell, or we were talking back and forth about us, like if we were going to go fish the event or not. And I was like, I just can't spend that amount of money, right? And not be confident in myself and going up there. But when I saw all you guys, I was watching who was signing up. I was like, man, I almost did it. I almost did it, but I didn't. I had other things that were planned, but I watched the leaderboard all day. And when I saw that 25 3/4 put up first thing in the morning, I was like, it's going to be a good event. So what were your guys, were y'all watching the leaderboard at all? Or no, I know Mitchell, you don't, I know that, but for John or Alan or any of those that were y'all watching the leaderboard?
Yeah, I'll check it throughout the day as I'm posting fish. One of my habits is whenever I upload a fish, no matter what app's being used, I always go in and make sure that my catch got submitted. So I'll go check the leaderboard just to make sure that it's actually there, and you can't help but see what people are doing at that point. So
yeah, no, that's a good habit to get into, so you're not last minute frantic trying to make corrections to your entries or upload entries. So John, what about you? You going to get a motor for the next year or what? Because I know you're in the Outback still manual pedaling. But...
Manual. I may have been the only guy out there manually pedaling around, and with those 26-mile-an-hour winds, boy, that I felt it after that day. I fought it the whole time, but
yeah,
the whole reason I got into kayak fishing was to really just get out and get some exercise, and I like that aspect, and it kind of forces you to slow down. I feel like in all honesty, if I had a motor, I'd probably fish too fast most of the time. So, there's good and bad to it. Certainly, I could have used one to get to a different spot on Sunday, but I'll probably stick to what I'm doing for a little while.
It's working. Yeah, I mean, you joined our event last year. Your first event you fished with us was the Lake Apopka Open. He's got you. He was fishing around your dock, or you saw him at a dock or something, and he got you, introduced to our club, and you joined and you fished the Open and you won it on Lake Apopka, right? Your first ever kayak bass fishing tournament, you won it.
And I had your board though, Chris. It was your board that gave me the lucky charm that day.
That's right.
I didn't even own a catch board, so Chris hooked me up there, and that was it. Yeah.
So unfortunately, Another Bass has never touched that board, so I don't use that one anymore. But hey, you're welcome. I never saw my 25% though, so we'll talk offline about that.
We'll work that out.
I know you got a Hobie check coming in the mail, or you might have already got it. I don't know, but we'll talk. But no, man, that's awesome. I knew that you were fishing out of the Outback, and day one seemed to be like the perfect day for bass fishing. With everything that kind of lined up the week going into the tournament, the moon, the wind, the weather, the temperature, all that kind of just like clicked and fell perfectly into place. So no, really good job. We enjoyed. Your name was up at the top of the leaderboard for a good part of the morning. On the first day. So, really good job with that.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear the other guys. I mean, like you said, it all lined up perfect for that first day Saturday. I just everything I was getting was like 16 to 20 inches, and got a lot of fish that day, but I didn't get any big bites. And to win an event or really do really well in the event, you're going to have to get some big bites. And so, curious if you guys had any, but for me, it was consistent. Just didn't get the bites I really, really needed.
Yeah. Question for you. What do you think about our event coming up on the 10th? Looking at it now, do you think it's going to set up for another, what you guys think, is it going to set up for another, round of good numbers being put up? Or I think the last time we looked last night, it looked like the weather was going to kind of fall into what day one looked like with the temperatures. So
I think part of it's what happens between now and then, right? So the week before the Hobie event, we had that strong cold front come in. That Sunday was 35-degree high temperature, right? And that I went out both that Saturday and Sunday, which was opening weekend. They have a week off, closed practice that you can't go out. So when I went out that Saturday, the water temp was 63, 64. Went out Sunday, water temp was 55. So that really, these Florida bass do not like that cold water, in my opinion. So that definitely plays into it. But then we had that strong warming trend all week, right? Yeah. And you could see it as the week went on, right? Bass were starting to move up onto beds. The males were moving up there first. And obviously, if anybody watched any of the live stream of the Hobie Awards, right, people are talking about they spent time bed fishing. And that's a double-edged sword as well, right? Because there could be big fish, but you can also waste a lot of time and not get what you're spending all that time going after too. So I think that can come into play, right? I mean, those bass have moved up there. There'll probably be more if the weather stays steady between now and then. And that's a strategy, going after bed fish and how long do you stay there before you pull the plug and go somewhere else?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll let Alan, since you just got done talking, I'll let you kind of talk about your experience, and then we'll finish off with Mr. Mitchell down here and talk a little bit more about the Harris event and kind of wrap it up. So I'll let you kind of go into your planning and what you did, and we'll move on.
Yeah. So a little bit of background on me, because a lot of people probably aren't familiar with me. I've lived down in Florida for 3 years now. Started bass fishing in 2016. Started tournament fishing in 2017. And just been growing. Won Angler of the Year in Southern Indiana, where I live, the first year I started fishing, and then started doing the national trail events. Won 2 Pro Tour events with KBS, another trail event, done the national championships, and Right. So I've done a lot of these big events, and I was excited to get back and do the Hobie again. But for this specific event, the Friday before our Panasoffkee event, Jeff Gallagher and I knew where we were going to fish for Panasoffkee. So we went out. That was the day before the off limits period, or the weekend before the off limits period for Hobie. I had never fished the Harris chain before, so as much time as I could get on the water was going to be beneficial. And like I said, we went out, or I went out on Saturday before the event, and the fishing was good then. You know, that mid 60-degree water temp was a good time. The 55-degree water temperature was not good at all. And then, so I made the decision to go ahead and come back home and let the water warm back up until Wednesday. And then I traveled back up and then pre-fished again Thursday and Friday leading up to the tournament. And, you know, I tried a bunch of different spots, a bunch of different lakes, and just kind of stumbled across something when I was out pre-fishing. And I felt, you know, it's also a different tactic for me, I think, when you're looking at a one-day event versus a two-day event, right? And that weather change that we had. So I really tried to find something that I felt would be consistent across the 2 days. I knew the wind was going to come up, and paid attention to what direction it was coming from. So how could I best manage that and still get quality fish? So that was kind of my strategy as far as spots. That's might change going into this event, because obviously you're looking at a single day big bag, and they were there. I knew they were there. I mean, I didn't come across 20 plus, but you know, 19 and a half was a good at the end of day one that I caught with, I think, 20 minutes left to go on the day. So, you know, I've got 3 spots just in the one area that I went out from on both days of that tournament, so I can move around a little bit. And I want to touch on this too, just because Christopher had made this comment, right, that we have the Bass Boat tournament coming out this weekend, and I know, you know, that might get some newer anglers a little bit anxious, but you know, think about it as any other weekend going out fishing in Florida, right? There's bass boats out there, and you know, like I said in the post there, just, you know, hold your ground, just protect your water, let them know that you're fishing a tournament too. Don't get in an argument with them. Just keep you doing your thing, and be professional about it, because you're representing us and yourself. Just as, you know, they may get a little rude. Just don't let it get to you, right? Just do your thing. And if you go out there first thing in the morning and they're on a spot, or if you want to change spots and you get there and there's a boat sitting there, just be respectful of that, right? Just like we want to be respected when we get to our spot, give them their space and let them do their thing. You know, just go out and it's just fishing, right? That's kind of my motto for my under the radar stuff, right? Just go out and fish, and you know, let things kind of happen as you're out there. So yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens between now and our event there on Harris. I think there's, you know, there's potential for huge bags to be put up there. The way, you know, we're with the spawn coming up, so just yeah, just stick to it. And you never know what might happen either, right? You may just come across a spot, and all of a sudden, right, 45 minutes, you could put up 100-inch bag quick, right? It's possible.
We've seen it in the Hobie event. A guy put up, he had 322s, I think, in a matter of less than an hour out there. So yeah.
And I can tell you, I know about the guy that did that, where he was fishing, or not exactly where, but how, right? Like, he wasn't fishing a big area.
Yeah.
Right. So you might not be running around all day. You might just stumble right across the right spot, and they're there right then, and it might just be your day.
Well, I mean, Todd's not on here. He skipped out on us tonight. So Todd, if you're watching this, that's bad juju on you. He chose basketball over the club, just for you guys to know that. So when y'all see Todd next, give him a big thumbs down. Will it go thumbs down on me? Nope, it won't do that. Oh, it does do that. Okay. But no, that's exactly what happened with him on Instapoga last year. He put up 100 and something inches in less than 30 minutes. So it's definitely, I'm excited about the Harris chain from a tournament. Me and Sean and Todd, as a tournament director standpoint, to see those big numbers when we put these events on. that's what we want. That's going to help the club. That's going to get people excited to fish our events. And when I see 113 inches put up, I'm like, that's awesome. It made me
Yeah.
super excited, but almost wishing
Well,
that we were out there fishing it too.
and we also, right, last week in the Hobie event, there were 3 bass over 10 pounds
Yeah,
that have been caught, right? So if you're looking for your first 10-pound bass like me, might happen on that day.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm super excited about it. I'm super excited to see you guys go out there and catch some big fish. I'm probably just going to be that guy out there, like not getting a single bite, but it's gonna be fun. And I'm looking forward to it. Mitchell, we got you down there. You look like you're bored.
No, I'm
What's
not.
what's in your mouth? Oh. Well, Mitchell, we'll kind of toss it over to you. Again, Alan, though, thank you, and I really do appreciate you expressing a little bit more about the boater, because there is a boater tournament going on. We appreciate, you telling your side of it as a tournament angler on kind of what our responsibilities are, and it's huge because again, it reflects you and the club, and we want to make sure that we're as professional as possible while out on the water. So I appreciate you sharing that. And we're going to dive a little bit more too on some angler responsibilities and kind of like how you guys handle certain situations when you guys are in the water. I want to hear your guys' point of view, and then on what you guys do to minimize some of that impact while you're out fishing a tournament. So we'll get to that after we have Chris and Seth talk about the hair change. So Chris, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, so I spent the week pre-fishing, not the whole week, but like the weekend before, and then the weekend before, and Thursday and Friday, pre-fishing a bunch of different lakes in the chain just to see if I can get like a consistent bite, and I couldn't find anything until, well, I couldn't find anything, and then on Friday after the captain's meeting, I just decided to go to a spot that I knew I could catch fish, but I'd never pre-fished it, but I didn't want to go there because it could be too crowded because I knew everybody's going to be there. So I ended up just going there anyways because I knew I can catch fish there, but it was frustrating at the end. So either way, I caught fish, which is good. I got my limit both days, but the fish that were around me were just way too finicky. They were on beds. I wouldn't. They weren't on beds in a typical spots that you would think that they would be on bedding on, like isolated pads or isolated reed or anything like that. They would just be out in the middle of nowhere, just in a little clump of hydrilla. Just you'll see like a circle indent. It's not like a real bed. It's just you see the female and then the male, and I wouldn't see them until I blew over them. And then they'll just scatter off. So that was frustrating, just seeing the fish and then them spooking off. And then I backed off of that area for a while. Then I started throwing a jerkbait, which was
a rut-row. The provoke.
I switched between not this color, but the bigger size and the new smaller size is a 97. I switched between the two, seeing what I get bit the most, and they seemed like they wanted the smaller one. But all the small buck bass, all the males, would just totally smash it as soon as they see it. But every time a better looking fish, I would just watch them. The water was so clear, I could just watch them just come up to it. Let me see if I can get this better. They'll come up to it and just barely touch it with their mouth, and they'll just go like that and then just stare at it, and if I twitch it just a little bit, they'll just take off. That was with every good looking bass that I saw, just like trace it back to the kayak. And then that was like throughout the whole day. The water temp was still probably 68 throughout the day, and then around 2 o'clock the water went up to like 72 or something like that, and that's when all my fish just fired off. I was catching one after another in one little spot. I just throw one in one area, bam, fish, and That's where I got most of my upgrades. And then, all right, the first big female that I drifted over, I went back to her spot, through the provoke. I watched her eat it and everything. Fought it around the boat, behind the boat, and then just pulled out. That's how my day ended with a good fish. I think it was probably a 19 or plus. But yeah, it was just a frustrating day on day one, and then day two, I went to the same spot thinking I could probably get her again, but the wind was too rough and I couldn't see in the water at all. Just got a small limit on day two, and I broke off something big. I'm not sure if it was a pickerel or not, but yeah, it was just another frustrating day after that. So it is what it is. I can't really be mad because I didn't pre-fish the area. I didn't know how the fish were setting up, but I made do with what I had. So, but I learned a lot. It was a good 2 days, and got to see a lot of people, and yeah, I'm excited to go back and get some redemption on that lake.
So yeah, you typically, if you guys don't know Chris Mitchell, you guys should be worried because he typically does pretty well, and I'm probably going to jinx it now, and I'm sorry, but the lakes that he fishes second after he might have done poorly on, he typically does pretty well in our events. So I think you didn't even catch a fish on Panasofsky in the Bass State Championship, right?
I caught one.
You caught one, that's right.
Yeah.
And then you came out and you fished our last event on Panasofsky, and you placed in the top 3. So I never underestimate you, for sure. So I'm looking forward. I know you're probably going to catch a big limit on our event. So get out there and pre-fish. Stop thinking you ain't got to go out there. Put some work in and go catch you a limit. I want to see you get over 100 inches.
I'll be out there Saturday.
Okay.
I'll be out there.
I'll be
Maybe
out
Sunday too,
somewhere.
in the rain. I'll be in the rain out on Sunday.
I'm going to I was planning on going Sunday, but I got tickets to the Pro Bowl, so I got to go to that.
I'm not going Sunday. I'm staying home. There ain't no way.
But all right, man. Well, Mitchell, I appreciate you sharing that with us and giving them a little bit of insight on what to throw. I guarantee if I go to any boat ramp out on the Harris chain, I'm going to go look at one of their rods. They're going to have a jerkbait on it now.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Hey, I got one. I always got a jerkbait tied on, and that color on a lake that I go to just gets smashed. So that's a really good color. Seth, man, it's a pleasure seeing you hop back on. We'll kind of turn it over to you and let you kind of talk a little bit about your experience a little bit about yourself. I don't think a lot of people know who you are on our club, but I'd like for you to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you, and your Hobie experience. So.
Hey man, so my name's Seth, obviously. I used to be in a boat, used to travel and fish tournaments with my work schedule throughout the country years ago. Used to be in a bass cat, but ended up selling that, moving to Florida, and about 4 years ago. And since being here, I've been in the kayak. So I took the year off last year. We started a business in the end of 2021, and I fished in 2021. No, I fished in 2022 with the KAF. My family's just getting home, so you might hear some background noise. But I took the year off last year. We have 3 little kids, 3 little girls. They're showing up right now. And then with our new business, it was just tough to get out there and fish last year. But this year, really pushing it much harder and getting out there doing the trail. As far as the Hobie event goes, I usually do pretty well at the Harris Chain. It's one of my favorite series of lakes. I practiced Thursday and Friday, and it was setting up with a warm front coming in after a nice cold 10 days or really all of January up there. So the fish were moving up, and I probably had 20 to 25 beds marked for Saturday. Now they were all at different levels of their spawn, right? Some were set up, ready to go, locked in. Others were roaming around a bed, and they're all at different levels and all different sizes too. I mean, I have easily 100 inches worth of fish sitting on beds. Some of them are hard to get to. Some of them are under mats with just their heads sticking out. So Saturday, I sight fished. It was beautiful conditions in the morning, clear, calm. I was able to sight fish, and I pretty much just picked off the fish. Went through my markings, my 20 beds that I had. unfortunately, a lot of them were tucked up under things, and I really just couldn't get a cast on them. You know, if you cast like 3 feet outside of where they're setting up, they're just not interested. I fished clean on Saturday. I think I had like 86 inches, something like that. Ended up being in 15th on Saturday, but I left, I think, 3 fish that were probably about 5 pounds on beds. And the wind picked up Saturday afternoon, and I had a decision to make on Sunday, which it was supposed to be real high winds, like 15, 20-mile-an-hour winds, like Chris was talking about there. So I decided not to go to my bed fishing spots with my nice ones that were still sitting there. Some of them hadn't set up yet. I figured they'd be set up Sunday. And I went and fished some grass that I knew there was some fish in. And I did pretty well on Saturday or Sunday. I had the mid 80s. Unfortunately, and this happened to me in 2022 on the Harris Chain and the Bassmaster Opens. I think on that one I got like 20th out of that field. I lost a fish that was like 12 pounds in 2022. Biggest bass I've ever seen in my life. It was on a bed, which would have bumped me up in the top 3. And the same thing happened to me on Sunday. I lost 2 that were, easily in the 7-pound range at the second half of the day as I was netting them. It's something I got to really clean up in my fishing game. And it made me sick, man. Like it was a really difficult pill to swallow on the first one. And I called my wife, and she's just like, hey, just go fish. Her supportive self, it was tough though. And then I had another one bite on pulling a bait through grass, and the exact same thing happened to me. They literally bounced off my net. So, I got 15th. I ended up 15th, but if you would have added those 2 fish that called in, which is, happens there, everyone loses fish. They just ended up being giants for me. It would have been a lot different outcome. So it's kind of like a dark cloud over this event where I'm happy that I did well. I had a lot of fun. I got to hang out with Chris and Eric Samuels and stuff. So it was really had a great time. Fortunately, the ending could have been a lot better, but it was a good event.
Yeah, man. You did fantastic, and hate to hear that you lost fish, but what kind of net do you typically use? Just a standard, or do you have any other particular net that you may need?
No, it's like a bigger net. I mean, it's well big enough. Like
Were they that big?
they're just big fish, and I think I'll just be straightforward. I was throwing a chatterbait, and it was a 1/2 ounce, and I don't throw chatterbaits often, and I think the weight of the head, So what happened was I fought them. I got them close to the boat too quick. I should have fought them longer and tired them out, because they had a heck of a head shake as I'm scooping them. And as I'm doing that scoop, I think that 1/2 ounce just shook out, and I just didn't get them. My net's plenty big enough. I just got to tire them out a little bit more. I think that's leaving the event. That's the learning lesson for me, is just like get these fish more tired before I try to net them.
Yeah. Or just boat flip them. Don't worry about netting them.
Yeah, but I don't have any sidewalls on that Van Hunks. If you boat flip them, you got to wrap your legs around them, man. They'll bounce right out.
So, and I want you to talk a little bit about Van Hunks, because I don't know if people know this or not, but I'll kind of let you talk a little bit about your partnership with them if you want, or kind of what that looks like. Or I'll let you explain a little bit.
Yeah, cool. So Van Hunks, they're based out of Sarasota, which is right down the road. Obviously, they're one of the main sponsors for this tour here. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I introduced Van Hunks to you, Chris, a few years ago.
Yes.
But, they're great people. They're from South Africa. Just awesome individuals. They make a solid kayak that's affordable for most people. And it can do everything that you need it to do. Now, my partnership with them, they're one of my sponsors for the 2022 season. Now, last year, I gave everything back to them just because I wasn't able to fish that year. So I wanted to fulfill my end of things. But they're awesome people. Tyron and his dad run that ship there. If you look at Google reviews, they're way up there, like 4.9 or 5, with hundreds of reviews. Excellent customer service. So, yeah, they're right down the road from me. So they ended up being good friends over the years as well.
Do you still fish out of the Van Hunks, the pro angler?
I'm actually in the mahi this year.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I've had that one for years, but I am fishing out of it. Yep, no motor either.
Yeah. Ty, they're phenomenal folks, and if I'm not mistaken, they're going to be out with you on the Harris. Is Daniel Carnes coming out?
Yeah, they said they're going to be out here on the Harris chain. I'm not sure if they're going to be following me or what
They
they're going to
did
do.
mention that they were going to get some footage of some of you guys out there on the water because. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, those guys are phenomenal folks. There's some guys in our club right now that we have a couple of them that are interested in switching over to the Van Hunks kayak. I know Kenneth. He just recently went out there and he fished his first event at Penasofsky in the Van Hunks, and then there's Ryan, one of our new members, Ryan Richards. I put him in contact with him as well, and they're maybe letting him use one out at the Harris chain. But they're really good people. And their customer service is really, it's like family. So if you guys are in the market or you guys want to, go try one out, they have a location in Sarasota where you can go and try them out and they'll let you get in and go take it out in the bay there in Sarasota. So just get in contact with them. But yeah, Seth, I appreciate you. You fishing our event on Harris?
I am.
You gonna be out there?
Yeah, it's going to be, and I used to fish it used to be the Oakley's Big Bass Tour. Now it's the Bass Pro Shop's Big Bass Tour. I used to travel and fish those, and I had a buddy that won a boat on the Harris chain. But there's going to be, I don't know if you guys probably discussed it, but there's going to be hundreds of boats, like hundreds. And the thing about those is that they can launch anywhere just like we can. There's no blast off. They'll be on the water typically. I don't know if they set the time limit now. There used to be no time in the morning. They could sit on a spot at like 3 a.m. But I think it might be like 5 or 6 now, but they'll be out there early in the dark getting at those spots and just camping on them if they know there's big fish there, if they got a bed or whatever, because the biggest bass will win a boat, and then each hour they pay out $1,000 for first, 900, 800, and so forth. So be a lot of boat travel.
Yeah, there's going to be boats out there. I know there was a comment about it on the members only page earlier on in the week, I believe, and there were some folks that were commenting on it. I mean, there isn't much that we can do this month. In February. We are stacked with 2 events. We have an event on the 10th and an event on the 17th on the St. Johns River, right? So we're trying to host as many events as we can to allow you guys to qualify for Angler of the Year or the championship. So that's kind of our thought. This month we have 2 events. So us changing it and not conflicting with the Bass event or any other events that are going on in the state. Just be careful out on the water. That's why we talk about safety. Having a high-vis flag isn't going to stop you from getting ran over, but it can help someone see you. If you guys don't know me, you saw my my light that I have. Hold on, I'm gonna mute Mitchell. He's opening up crackers or something. If you guys saw me, I have that huge light bar. You can see me from like 6 nautical miles away across the lake with my my YOLO Tech light. So definitely make sure that you guys have all your safety equipment on board, whistle, all that stuff, so that you guys, in the event something does happen, you guys are taken care of. Something that I've been watching, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but a lot of anglers on the water now are packing a radio, like a handheld radio, to communicate with other anglers on the water. That's something that I thought I've been seriously thinking about doing, is putting one of them on my boat, just in the event that something does happen. I'd like to hear some of your guys' feedback on that. Is that something that, would be smart for us as kayak anglers, or just use your phone? But that LMR, that land mobile radio, could just be that quick. Hey, help, send that SOS signal out. Mitchell, you're on mute. Unmute yourself. Does anyone in here carry a radio or just their phones? He's muted, idiot.
I just carry my phone. I've got so much other stuff on my kayak. I don't know that I need something else with me.
So I was watching Christine Fisher. Her and her crew does it. Greg Blanchard does it, but there's a lot of other. And it's not just for talking to people on the water. It's for the Coast Guard. It's like a radio that you can signal to them that you're in distress. It has a GPS on it and everything. It's like a safety thing. If you flip over, your phone isn't really waterproof, but those radios float. and it can help you get in contact with the Coast Guard. It's just food for thought. If that's something that you guys might be interested in, that's another safety. We're obviously it's not mandatory, but it's a communication method that's waterproof and can get you help in the event that you need it. So, but no, I appreciate you guys hopping on and hanging out with us. We're looking forward to the Harris Chain. Should be a fun event. Hopefully we see some fish caught over 10 pounds. I'd love to see that. What are you eating, Mitchell? He had a chocolate chip cookie. Sour Patch Kids. So, all right. So, who are y'all going to go out this weekend and pre-fish or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mitchell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got beat up pretty good. I think I'm taking the weekend off.
Did you? So, John, what did you finish overall? You were in the top.
I finished 13th the first day, and I think I didn't have as great of a day, but I moved up one spot and finished 12th.
Yep, 12. Seth was 15th. Alan, you were
23rd.
23rd. I knew there was a 3 in there. 23rd, and then Mitchell, you finished in the 52nd or 6th.
56.
That's not bad. That's what they had 200 something people out there.
153.
Yeah.
153. That ain't bad. You finished in the top third. So nothing wrong with that. Conrad, where did Conrad finish?
I think 20th.
18th, I think.
Or 18th. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we had quite a few anglers that went out there and finished really well. I was hoping that we'd see one of the FKBT members take it home. But whenever someone catches 113 inches on day one, I'm like, I think anybody could have done that. But he didn't do that. That angler didn't do too well on the second day, which I was pulling for him. But
yeah, I thought there's no way somebody that has 113 inches is not going to finish in the top 20 or whatnot. But you got to catch 5 fish. I mean, that is the takeaway, right?
Yeah. I saw that. I was shocked. I was looking for his name, and I looked all the way. I think Mitchell, you finished ahead of him. I'm pretty sure. Or all of you guys did. I think he finished like mid. I don't know. I think 50 or 60 or something like that.
He only caught like 40 inches day 2.
Yeah. So I mean, that's crazy. 113 inches. I'm curious. I was trying to get a hold of him to see if he would want to come on and kind of, he has the highs and then the lows, right? And I'm curious to see if he kind of went back to the same spot to try to catch him. But
that's probably why he didn't catch him, because his wind probably blew him out.
Well, they said in the awards, because I went to the Hobie Awards event, and they said that he went back to the same spot. They just weren't there.
Oh, gotcha.
Caught 2 14s and moved on.
Huh.
Hey, well, I give props to that guy, man. He caught the heck out of him on day one. 113 inches is insane. And just to put it in perspective, there was a 25 3/4, a 25 1/2, and a 24 1/2. If I was that guy who caught a 24 1/2, which would probably be a bass of my lifetime, and I didn't win big bass, I'd be sick to my stomach. And then the guy that caught the 25 1/2 is that he didn't even get big bass for that, so I would have been absolutely sick to my stomach.
I don't know if you guys saw the guy in practice. I think his was 1310. It weighed almost 14 pounds. It was even bigger. So that was nuts.
Yeah, and that was curious. So I have a question for you guys. Fishing a Hobie event, motors are allowed now, right? So I'm sure you saw a lot more anglers out there. I'm surprised there wasn't more anglers out there competing with the opportunity of being able to have a motor in that specific event. Did you guys see more boaters out there or kayakers with motors or just pedaling? I don't know. I never fished a Hobie, but I'm curious to see how many of the anglers actually had a motor.
There was a lot of motors. Hobie actually allowed motors in their practices last year.
Yeah.
And so introducing that into the tournament was the new part this year. But you get on these national series, right? You've got 2 others to fish as well, right? Bass allows motors and KBF allows motors. So, a lot of these people that are fishing these big events are kind of all in on these, right? So
Yeah.
if you have it for one series and it's allowed there, you're going to have it. You're going to have it and be able to, want to use it if you can in the other series as well. So,
Yeah.
not, I think that by far what I saw was more motors than not.
I got my
I
next
agree.
question. How many of you guys would want to see two motors on a kayak? How many of you guys would be up for that?
I mean, I don't care if someone runs it, but I'm not gonna do it. That's just too much to handle.
So, well, the reason I asked is there's been a lot of talk about it, and I went out and I went out and tested something because I wasn't some events that I'm not fishing with you guys. I want to be able to come out and like go around and take photos of everyone. I don't have a boat, so I can't really get to places, and I don't have 16 torpedo batteries that I can just stack on top of one another. But I went out with I wanted to see how the Titan X would handle with a bow and a stern motor and weight distribution and everything. And I'm telling you right now, that Titan handles it very well. And it's more efficient not with the bow mount deployed, but with it just sitting with that weight on the front running the torpedo. My torpedo ran a lot more efficient than it did with nothing on the front. So I'm curious to see because the Titan can handle it. I can tell you that. But I'm curious to see how that goes moving forward. If these other trails, how long it's going to take them before they start allowing a stern and a bow mount to be played in or to be used in that event. So obviously it's not allowed here, not allowed yet, but I'm sure there's a lot of folks out there pre-fishing that or just out fun fishing that do it. But it worked pretty well. I enjoyed it. Getting to try it out, it was fun. But okay, fair enough. Now I got some questions for you in regards to the FKBT. Bring your dog and have him sit up front. David. And I'm sorry, Sean, have you been monitoring the questions or the comments? I haven't been monitoring them. I've been talking with these guys. So
I'll run through.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. If you guys have questions, we'll answer them. Do any of you guys have questions before we jump into it for John, Chris, or Alan? And we'll let you guys, we'll put them up on the screen, but we'll turn it over to the folks watching if they got any questions.
I've seen nothing so far.
Yeah. Number of people taking on water, is going to double with two motors. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, I went out with, we had a little weekend trash talking trail event last weekend. Sean, Chris Harrelson, myself, and Todd. I'm not gonna just sit here and say I didn't put a whooping on them, but I did. And I didn't take on any extra water for good, fun butt whooping.
He was auto DQ because he used two motors.
No, it's
not in accord. Hey, Mitchell, the rules. Mitchell is the rules guy for weekend trash talking trail.
He couldn't even make it.
He has specified that only one motor is authorized.
Yeah,
All
you're DQ'd, Bailey.
Yeah, okay. No.
So that actually brings you, since your teammate Todd did not catch a fish 19 inches or over.
So in the weekend
you guys skunked,
events, we do,
and it was a shutout. So me and Daryl Harrelson put up a shutout.
Let's just put it this way: my best fish were 59.9 inches.
That's it.
We do best three in the weekend trash talking trail. They were 20. I had a 21 and a half and two 19s.
It's not true. And he also violated the rule that each one of the team members must put up at least one fish, and one team member put up a big fat goose egg. So
whatever. They're just upset that I beat them on. I had 90 and 3/4. It is what it is. But no, I got some questions for you guys though. In regards to being a tournament angler, like coming out and fishing these events, John, this is your first year, right? What were some of the major challenges that you kind of talked about a little bit, but what were some of the major challenges that you faced and kind of had to overcome to make sure that you've become a better angler since that first event on Apopka?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Just learning how to fish out of a kayak. I mean, I did a lot of fishing out of bass boats, did bass boat tournaments, and it's different. It's different in a kayak. And so one of the getting hook sets, getting fish into the boat, it's very, very different. So there was a lot of learning there. I'm still learning in that aspect. But even silly stuff like when you're used to bass boat fishing, and you keep everything in your boat, right? So you launch your boat, everything is there. With kayak fishing, I mean, I don't even have a trailer. The process to getting it loaded and unloaded, I've had to create like a checklist basically, like to go through. Have I replaced my power pole remote batteries? On the Toho event, they were dead. I didn't have a power pole out there. So. Did I leave? Yeah, one event I left my tackle box. I think I told Chris he was at the same spot I had found at Panasofsky, and I went all the way to the other end. Of course, I have no motor, and then I found out lines in, I don't have my tackle box, and so I have to turn around and go all the way back to the ramp and hope nobody's stolen my tackle box. It's just silly things like that I'm still kind of working through, kind of embarrassingly, but things I never had to worry about when I fished out of a boat. And so cleaning up all that's going to obviously save you a lot of time. But again, each event, I think I've learned something else along the way. I've added it to a checklist, and I've cleaned it up a little bit more each time. So I've still hopefully put it all together. Maybe next Saturday.
Awesome.
I remember an event. It was one of my very first. I was just going out fun fishing. I drove an hour to go fish a lake and forgot my kayak seat.
How did that go? Did you stand up all day?
I tried for a little while. I gave up on that after a little bit.
I think I was telling Sean I was out fishing the other weekend, and there was a kayaker that was out there in an autopilot with no seat, and either he stole it or he did the same thing, because I was sitting there, I'm like, this guy, why is he standing up so long? And then I saw him sitting down, and I couldn't see anything. I was like, where's his seat at? And I was like, it's either stolen or he just forgot his seat at home. But that is the absolute worst thing to have happened to you. Okay. So, John, using the Fishing Chaos app, is it with our tournaments, is it the first time that you've used that app?
Yeah, it is pretty intuitive. I mean, the Tourney X app we use for this other one. I did the Gambler tournament out on the Harris chain as well. They use the Tourney X app. I don't know. Either one is fine. I mean, again, it's pretty intuitive. So haven't had any app related issues. Okay.
Now we're just trying to ask from an angler standpoint that doesn't have as much of an experience as a Mitchell or a Thomas or a Woodring or any of those folks, right? And just saying, hey, is it friendly to you guys that are new to the sport, kayak fishing, and making sure that we're able to check those boxes and use the platform that best suits the needs of the anglers that are coming out and fishing our events. So I appreciate that. What about you guys, Mitchell or Alan? What are some of the challenges that you have faced or continue to face here with the kayak bass fishing scene?
I'll take one, because I actually ran into an angler at the ramp the second day of the Hobie event that struggled with this. So, right, the first challenge as a kayak angler is catching the fish, and the second one is you got to get it on a board, keep it on a board, and get a picture of it. And this guy was telling me that he caught 2 or 3 fish in the second day of the tournament, had them jump off the board. So, my strategy, and I've had that happen, after I lost my second 20-plus inch fish off the board, I said, I got to figure out some way to stop this from happening, right? So my strategy is, the way that my kayak's set up, I can take my leverage landing net from Yak Attack, right, and lay it up on the left-hand side, stand it up against, I've got a 360 camera out front. It goes up against my mount for that. And then put my board up against the bottom of that. And if that fish jumps, it's going to jump into that net, and it's not going to be off into the water. So, if you can come up with a strategy there, some kind of backboard or something like that, gives you a little bit of confidence, that's definitely going to help you from losing some fish, because they're bound to get a little squirrely sometimes, right? Especially if you're on maybe not so much of the big fish all the time, right? But those little guys, right? They're just so feisty and just start going crazy and they just slip around.
Yeah. No, that's a great tip. Definitely. We see a lot of anglers that do utilize their landing net. And that's good. So for you anglers that might be new to that, that's definitely a key ticket there to keeping fish from jumping off the board. I see so many photos where people have their catch board across their lap and the fish sitting on the that way with nothing, and it scares the heck out of me. I'm like,
That I took a picture of that giant on his lap.
who?
One of the big fish caught at the Hobie.
Oh yeah,
he had it on his lap. Oh, no way! Hey,
he was fishing out of a perception that was literally like the width of him, and he had all of his fish were literally sitting on his lap like that. I'm like, that's what I was talking about. There's absolutely no way I would have went to land before I would have taken a photo with that fish.
Hey, Chris, one more thing I was going to add. The catchboard ID holder has probably been the best purchase that I've made. As you know, the first event I did with you guys, I caught like a 20+ inch fish, was excited to get it on the board, took a picture of it, and then got it DQ'd, right away. First fish in a kayak tournament over a 5-pounder. And from then on, I've been paranoid about it. So the ID holder prevents that. I'm sure I'm not the only person that's made that mistake as well.
You actually had a few fish DQ'd from the Apopka one, correct? It was with the identifier, or was it just
I thought it was one. I thought it was one,
yeah,
but that one hurt though. It's hard to replace
Yeah.
a 21+ inch fish,
You did. You replaced it. You did catch another one. So I mean, it's not really that hard whenever you go out there and crush it that way. But yeah, I remember Todd, or you had called Todd because Todd was the one judging them, or someone had reached out to me, and I was like, well, get in contact with them. But yeah, you were able to rebound. But no, you learned from that, and definitely it's that pair. Once one thing happens to you, you're very rarely going to let it happen to you again. Especially when there's money involved, and you guys put so much time, effort, energy, and money into fishing for 8 hours in one day. We got to minimize our mistakes, so that we can maximize, the time on the water and, lines being wet. So Mitchell, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you answer that question. A lot of folks follow you on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, and you do a really good job of kind of setting up anglers to be successful. So I'll kind of let you talk a little bit on that.
Yeah, I mean, I try to show everything that I've learned myself. Like if I mess up something, I'll share it, and so someone else doesn't make that mistake. Seth and Eric and I were joking around the other day before the tournament about a fish coming off the board, and I was telling them, I was like, I set my net up every time, and I've never had a fish try to jump out. And then we were just joking around about that. And then on day one of the tournament, I had a 14-incher jump off the board because I didn't put my net up. And I was just about to take a picture. He goes, boop, it just jumps out. I'm like, okay. So, yeah, so now that's one thing is don't be overconfident, I guess, of what your fish are going to do. You think they're going to be nice and calm, and all of a sudden they'll just do whatever they feel like doing. And yeah, he didn't even bounce or anything. It was just a clean jump. Like it is crazy. So I definitely take Alan's suggestion of the whole net thing, because it does work. Because after that happened, I set up my net every single time, no matter what size the fish was, and I've had like one or two try to jump off again, and the net definitely saves it. So that's all I really got.
Well, I mean, you guys probably seen it on his YouTube video, but we traveled all the way to Kentucky Lake, right? And we had an instance, right, where this was actually brought up, and Mitchell shared his video on a comment from people who were, catching fish that appear to have a glossy eye or appear to be dead, or whatever that may be, right? So we'll talk a little bit about that. If you're catching fish out there that have been hooked in the eye before, may have a defect that makes them look like they're not alive. taking a picture, but also a video of
Yeah.
those fish.
I do. I do a video release on all of my fish because you never know what's gonna happen. Like there could be a little bit of blood coming out the gill, and they'll question it. So you want to take a video of every fish that you release. I mean, at least the good ones. If it's like a small 12 or something, if you don't record that, it's not a big deal. But at least like the 16s or above, I'd like to video release.
And he has a good video, and a lot of the anglers that fish our events have. If you watch their YouTubes, you'll see how they do it. But in the event that a tournament director says, "Hey, we need to see a video of that release," and you don't have it, that fish gets DQ'd. That's the same across the board for our trail, as it is with any other trail. But it is up to the tournament director's discretion, right? There was a post with one of Doug Wilson's fish on Lake Panasoffkee. The tournament director met with the judge, the official. We're like, okay, no, that we can obviously tell that fish is alive, and is fine, right? So again, it's the discretion. You guys saw maybe last year, it was like 2021 or 2022, where that guy like drug a bass around the lake for like 10 hours, and you could see his fish as progressively as the day went on that it started changing colors. We're not going to just sit out there and say, hey, show me a video, right? That's not how we're running things here. But in the event that it is, apparent that the fish is dead or something's wrong with it, we will ask those. And if you can't provide that video, just know that the way forward is that those fish will be DQ'd. But Mitchell had a video in this instant, right? We traveled all the way to Kentucky Lake. He did really well on this main body, on the body of water we were fishing from never fishing, and it was like 20 degrees outside, right? Caught his limit. Day 2, we go out, different catch board, different identifier, about 100 and 200, you say 300 yards away from that spot where you were day 1. Submitted, caught a fish.
Yeah.
Caught a fish, submitted it, and didn't find out until award ceremony that fish got DQ'd, right, Mitchell?
Yeah, I didn't know it got DQ'd until I was on the road on the way back, or way to the check-in, and just trying to scramble and see what's going on, and I found out it was the same fish, and you can't catch the same fish. But their rules are different on the whole video release thing. I had a video release of that fish from day 1 and day 3, so they could have used that, but
they didn't. Right?
They didn't use it. So it's up to the tournament director, like you said. But I mean, it can't save
that
you
was
if
the difference. That was the difference from you cashing a check.
Yeah,
it was a huge difference. So yeah, the emotions were involved, right? Mitchell handled it, very professionally with those guys, and he was visibly upset, right? We were staying together. I felt really bad for him, right? Because the video could be used, or in this case it wasn't used, and they stuck their ground, right? But we had about a 14-hour drive home, but
it still stings today.
It sucks. It still stings, right? Because that's you put so much time, effort, and energy into it. So again, we appreciate everything that you guys, the anglers, do and participating in our club. And that's why we try to do the best that we can and be as straightforward and up and honest with everyone after each one of these events. So we haven't had any major issues this year. We've had a couple minor things that were needed to be addressed. Cell phone service was a big one on Lake Panasoffkee, right? Us as tournament directors, I don't know where a lot of you guys were fishing on the river or whatnot. I was on the main body. But again, something that we're going to try to stress and angler responsibility moving forward is cell phone service. Hobie, right, lines in with 7 and 3, right, for your guys' event, and then you guys had to meet at a location before a certain time, right? On the ceremony, you got to check.
Day 1 we didn't have to meet. Day 2 we did.
Yep.
Or not really,
day 2,
but
not really, but if you were in a check, right, you had to you met up there, right? So for us, for the most part, everyone has done a phenomenal job of communicating with myself, Sean, or Todd on the post-event meetup stuff. So we really appreciate that. But the one thing that we have stumbled into with the Panasofsky event was the cell phone service or the fishing chaos situation. But again, there's like three different sides, right? We have anglers that understood that there was that they might have lack of cell phone service, right? And for those anglers, what did those anglers do?
They got off the water early and went to cell phone signal.
Right. So those things, and then for other anglers, again, like for you, John, you pedal 3-4 miles, from the boat ramp, right? Not having a motor, you get to that spot and you're like, dang, you go to try to upload a fish at 10, 11 o'clock in the morning and you see that it isn't uploading, right? You're like, oh shoot, like I gotta figure something out, right? So that you can get that fish uploaded to the leaderboard. And then once you do, maybe if it's an app issue, you contact us. If it's a cell phone issue, you got to find cell phone service, right? Because you ain't going to be able to message me if you don't have cell service. So the big thing that we say moving forward is just you guys make sure if you guys have lack of cell phone service in the areas that you're fishing, please, please, please plan ahead. Even if it's you're in the middle of the day and cloud coverage comes in and you don't have service, you got to know that. So don't hold on to those fish and then try to upload them at one time. And then that's when you're finding out you don't have cell service. So that's just some things that we're trying to do to eliminate, that panic at the end, right? Because I had one angler that reached out to me and let me know that they were having some cell service issue. And then there was a post made later, and then come to find out there was like 4 or 5 other people that were having the same situation. And I guess we're kind of in the same area. I don't know. I don't recall they were upriver, right? Or downriver. I don't know however you want to call it. But there was quite a few from speaking with you guys that were fishing in the river, and no one and you guys made a point to get back to the boat ramp, right, and get those photos uploaded and then get back to the award ceremony. And we appreciate and commend you guys for doing that and understanding that it is your guys' responsibility to do so. And that's one of the reasons why we as a club had said, hey, when you guys are those monthly events, those are month-long tournaments where when you guys are out on the water, you guys can test that. So make sure that the spots that you're fishing does have service. And I'd much rather you learn on a monthly than on a day where, there's like $800-900 on the line, right? So take advantage of that when you're out pre-fishing and relay that information to us, right? Sean is building the boundaries, right? And if there's an area of a lake or a body of the water that has absolutely no cell phone service, let us know so we can either adjust those boundaries or just eliminate it to where we don't fish that, because we don't want to put you guys in a situation to where it's unsafe. You rushing to get back to the boat ramp, loading up, forget to strap down your kayak, and then try to find service. And now you got a kayak in the middle of the highway and you're hurting yourself and other people, right? So that's one of the things that we're trying to address. All the anglers are gonna learn this kind of at their own pace, right? It might not happen to you now, but it might happen to you at a national championship, at a Hobie event that you drove, 24 hours plus to go fish, So those are things that we just want to make sure that you guys are, taken care of. And for the most part, a lot of these anglers are going to learn from Chris Mitchell. They're going to watch his videos. They watch Thomas's videos when he was putting them out. They watch Alan Reed's. He's been posting them. You have, godly, what's his? Why am I drawing a blank on his name now? Nathaniel Holly. You have a lot of kayak anglers in our club that post really good content and can kind of show you, what the easy route might look like, because you're going to learn through their failures and their experiences. So we appreciate you guys putting that content out. John, we appreciate you sharing your experiences and the lessons learned. Alan, again, thank you as always for sharing your input here on the live, but also you're very active on our members only page and helping those new beginners with some of their questions that they have. So from our standpoint, from Sean, myself, and Todd, we see that interaction that you guys have with those anglers via your social media platforms. And we are very grateful, to have you guys as members of our club. Because of that, you're making our job easier from the content that y'all are putting out. So we appreciate that. Thank you for that. I don't want to keep you guys on any longer. We're at an hour and 10 minutes. I just noticed that. Mitchell is seeing, he's doing things right now. He has his fidget spinner out. So I don't want to keep you guys on too long, but again, John, I really appreciate you coming out and fishing with the club this year. Phenomenal person. Alan, again, fantastic. I appreciate everything you're doing, Chris. You're amazing. So, anything
Thanks
else
for
you
having
guys
us on,
like
guys.
to add before we release you guys?
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate you guys. Everyone's coming out to Harris Chain, right?
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys out at the Harris Chain. We'll remove you guys from the stage, but we're going to talk for about 5 more minutes about Harris Chain here in the next 5 minutes. All right. See you guys.
Yep. Good work this past weekend. See you guys out. Thanks.
Fantastic job.
Bye.
So, bye. You want to stay on, Mitchell? I got you. So, all right. So great video or great podcast there, live, whatever you want to call it, with those guys. Seth, I appreciate you coming on. I tried to get Conrad, but yeah, he didn't accept my link. He's probably out there doing Conrad things, but we'll try to get him on at some point because he is back with the club. So, and to talk about that, we had 3 people join the club this week. So we got 3 new members, I believe. Let me verify that. We got 3 new members to the trail, which is really, really good. That puts us at, let me see before I lie, we're at 81 members now. So this week we had a Benjamin Lindsay, a Blake Johnson, and Conrad Benetti. All 3 of those guys joined the club. So appreciate you guys for joining. We're looking forward to seeing you guys out at some of these events. I know through conversation with them that they're not going to be able to fish all of them, but they are wanting to get into the club and compete against some of us or some of our anglers. So glad to have you guys on and looking forward to meeting you guys at the next event. But little update here for this month. I do want to hit on the 3 events, the monthly, the Harris Chain briefly, and then, or the Harris Chain and the St. John's very briefly. So on Fishing Chaos, all 3 registrations for those events are open. The monthly for this month, well, the January monthly, Matt Vogt from the Northwest Bass Nation Division. He's a member of the club, but he's also the tournament director over there. He took first place for the best 5 for January with 104 inches. 104. What did he have? 100 and
It was
let me see.
104. Let me double check. Slayers
104 and a half. 104 and a half inches with a 22 and a quarter was his kicker fish. And then Albert Poor, Matt took home $200 too, with only 9 people fishing in the monthly, right? Took home $200. Albert Poor, with his 24-inch fish that he caught on Lake Panasoffkee, he took home another $80 for that big fish. He took home 185 at Panasoffkee and another 80 for the monthly. So Albert Poor, congratulations with that. For the month of February, if you guys didn't see my post and you didn't get the email, or you haven't read the email or message that I sent through Fishing Chaos this morning, the FKBT, the February monthly, is a MLF style, every inch counts. The minimum length is a 12-inch, but we're trying to swap it up and do different formats. This month is going to be the every inch counts. March is going to be the Madness, the Team Madness. So we're going to have a 2-man team event for a month long. There's going to be a little change to something specifically there. That's going to be a little bit different than any other monthly that we've had so far. We're going to release that the last week of February after the St. John's event. We're going to let the registration go live on that with some new interesting things that we're going to be doing for that specific month only. So more to come with that. If you're interested, for that 2-man team, the March Madness thing that we're going to be doing. Blind draw, we're still going to work on that, Robert, and trying to figure out what we're going to do. It's going to be a blind, if it's going to be a blind draw or not. And I'll just talk about eligible bodies of water too. There might be some minor adjustments with that as well. But 2-man teams, I'm just trying to figure out how to get it situated on the Fishing Chaos platform. So that's why it's going to be in March. I'm still trying to work through the process with that. So again, this month, every inch counts. Get signed up. I think there's 3 folks already signed up. Registration is $30 for the entry fee. We pay out the top 10%, and Big Bass is 100% payout for that. So get signed up today for that. And then for the Harris Chain, again, registration's open. That will close at midnight the night before. $50 for registration and $10 for Big Bass for that. So Sean, real quick with the boundaries and stuff, the link's been posted on the members only page.
Yeah,
It's
for
also
both
Yep,
tournaments this month.
Yeah,
St.
both
John's and
tournaments.
Harris are both on the members only page. What we owe you guys, we talked about it earlier. I know we've because of the Bass tournament, we just want to make sure we're choosing the right location for the post tournament link up, but we'll hash that out real quick after this and drop it in the members only group page.
Yes, drop in the comment section below, or even if you're watching this after the we go live or after the live ends. Does the messaging system in Fishing Chaos, is everyone receiving that? Is that the best way to reach you guys as far as updates with the club, tournament registrations? If you guys saw the email that was just pushed out this morning, there was some important information about the 13 Fishing Rapala not accounts, but the sponsorship with the club. So you guys, very important that if you're not getting those emails or you're not checking them, let me know. Communicate that to me so we can make sure that you guys are getting up-to-date information as we send it out, and not just solely relying on Facebook, because we realize a lot of you guys might not utilize that platform as much as just simply reading a quick email through the Fishing Chaos app. So let us know what works best for you guys, and we will continue to do that just so that we can get you guys set up. Make sure if you guys should have received, if you're a FKBT member, paid member, you should have received an email to create that account with your for Rapala. So if not, reach out to me or just respond to that email that I sent out, and we'll get you squared away for that. But that is an amazing deal. I'm not going to talk too much about it on the live because that's exclusive for us as members, but they really came through. We weren't expecting that, but we are super grateful and very happy and pleased to have those guys on board with the FKBT and looking to continue that partnership. So right now, are there any questions that you guys have for myself or Sean about the Harris Chain? Again, make sure you guys are taking care of yourself with everything, with all the boats that are going to be out on the Harris Chain these next couple weeks leading up to the big event. So just make sure you guys are doing your part. Communicate to us if there's anything that may need to be addressed beforehand. We appreciate that. So we much rather be proactive than reactive at the end of a tournament. So also just going to give you guys a quick heads up. We have 72 hours after the line's out from each event to final to make the results final. So again, that just gives us time to go back through the submissions and make sure everything's squared away and that the judge didn't miss anything. So just giving you guys a heads up on that if you guys were not tracking. We haven't had any issues after Toho that we had to address and kind of amend the places, the finishes. But keep up the good work. Keep doing what you're doing. Know the rules in and out. What is expected of you guys when you're out on the water. And the biggest thing we can communicate to you guys as anglers participating in these events is communicate with us and let us know what we can do to make this club the best club here in the state of Florida, and continue to do what we love to do, because once it's not fun for us, it's not going to be fun for you guys, and we're not going to continue to do it. But you guys make this fun for myself and Sean. I know we get out and talk a lot of trash, but we really do enjoy.
We talk a lot of trash to each other on the weekends during the weekend trash talking trail.
And if you guys are interested and want to participate in the weekend trash talking trail and you just want to go out and have some fun, some legal fun, reach out to us. I mean, right now it's just me, Sean, Harrelson, Mitchell. Sometimes he kind of leaves us out in the dark.
Hey, Mitchell's an OG founder of the Weekend Trash Talking Trail. At one point it was 3. Now we're up to 5. What, 5? Right? We added Todd. Todd fished his first WTT this past weekend.
Yeah. So our next one might be a boat ramp beatdown. So one ramp, everybody knows the rules. We might go out there and just drop it in the members only in the members only group chat. We're going to be here at this boat ramp at this time. Bring $20 and we go have fun. Because I'm here I can't do nothing in a tournament, but I can take $20.
That's $20 on a Saturday. Yeah, always.
So, but yeah, if you guys are interested in that, reach out to us. We'll be more proactive with it and dropping it in the members only page. And we just like to have fun.
Yeah, you can trash talk Bailey in Spanish all day long.
Yeah, when I'm running circles around you guys. Yeah, definitely. We'll drop it in the chat.
I have a good understanding of the Spanish language after living in Miami for 4 years. So.
Hey, the one thing though about the weekend trash talking trail, I'll just tell you this right now. It could be anywhere in the state of Florida. I'm telling you, we go anywhere. We'll go to a body of water that you probably never even heard of before, and we'll drop in and we'll go fish and catch biggins. Don't go to Sean's spot that he's talking about. There seems to only be like 15 and 14 inches out there, but we can take you to some spots.
Okeechobee hasn't been treating me well lately, so
hold on. Harrelson just asked me a question. Don't make me pull my phone out real quick, Harrelson. Here, I'll show you.
You caught 9. You said 9. I mean, between me and Harrelson, we put up.
That one.
It's probably like
that one. Hold on. You want me to keep going? Those were the 3 that beat you guys this weekend.
Yeah, our phones would have been full. Like we would have had to start deleting photos with all the fish we caught this past weekend.
But no, for real, we're at 100. We're at an hour and 22 minutes already. We need to get off of here, Sean.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
People are dropping like flies. We were at 21 before, but now we're at 15. So I think that means they want us to stop talking. But hey, real quick though, before we do let them go, we do need to give a shout out to our sponsors, but also we're going to start doing more of lives like this, bringing anglers onto the show to kind of talk about their experiences and kind of share a little bit about themselves, because it's not about just me, Sean, Todd, right? Yeah, we're going to give you guys some information, but we want you guys to give back to the club as well. So if you guys are interested or like to come on the podcast, shoot me a message, a private message to where we can link up, talk a plan through, and figure out what we can do for that live, and then we'll go live. But we definitely want to get you guys involved and do some things and talk about some things that you guys want to talk about other than just us talking about the weekend trash talking trail and tournament stuff. So that can get kind of boring. So we're going to continue to bring you guys onto the show. Not asking for you guys to divulge or share your spots or anything like that, but just come in and talk, share your experiences, some of your the things that you guys do to be successful, or things that you've done that make you not successful. So a little bit, we like to hear the good and the bad here on the FKBT live. So we appreciate you guys coming on and watching tonight's live with some of the guys that competed in the Hobie last weekend. We're looking forward to seeing you guys out on the water on Harris Chain these next couple weeks, and then for February 10th. But we're excited for what February. This is the first time the FKBT has hosted 2 events in 1 month, so we're curious to kind of see what that participation looks like for both of those events. The Harris Chain should be the event where we reach over 50 registered anglers, in my opinion. I hope you guys let this be the first event where we have to pay out the top 5. That's my goal, is to have to pay out the top 5 for the Harris Chain. So that ain't going to happen without you guys registering, though. So get out there and register. You guys are going to have a chance to catch a bass of a lifetime out there, and we want you to. So get signed up. And yeah, Sean, if you want, I'll toss it over to you to kind of hit on some of our sponsors.
For sure. 1 second. No, but so for the sponsors, he put the banner up for me so I don't forget anything. Strike King, Van Hunks, we highlighted them again today. Dakota Lithium, 13 Fishing, also tied in with Rapala now, as you guys know. Torn Outdoors, which I constantly say throw that striker. Ego Fishing, Bailey's Favorite Shoes, Cross Kicks, Big Bass sponsor, Spear Hooks, Greg Gerdak over there at Mondo's Fishing, the one and only Todd Quillen and Quilco Printing, and I don't know if I missed any or not. Toad Thumper Lures, Zero, Wicked Weights, Catch, who provided us with the great product last year. And what Bailey
we might have some cool stuff coming up for Catch. We gotta figure that out.
We're working on something for David Myers specifically, if he can pull it off.
You talk to him for a minute. I gotta show y'all my shirt. Hold on a second. Hold on. I gotta grab this.
I hope I didn't miss anybody. But yeah, get out there. You guys, I know you guys are probably already hitting up the Rapala website and picking up some new prod, hopefully. But definitely don't forget about my one and only favorite lure, the Striker 4.0. I think Bailey's getting his knockoff Lil Debbie t-shirt.
Hey, y'all check this out. Sorry.
He probably bought it from Team U, is where he got it from. But we got Big Deborah.
Hey, what do you guys think about this? This is meet Big Deborah. Everyone's left already. We're at 10, but they're gonna look at it later on. Big Deborah made it to the show. I should have worn that shirt tonight.
Big Lunker of the Year may get a Big Deborah t-shirt at the end. Who knows? But appreciate you guys hopping on. Hopefully see you out there on tournament day. So you guys have a good night.
Yep, tight lines, guys. We'll see you guys then. Bye.